Good morning, my loves. How are you doing? If you're new here, karibu sana. I go by the name Vivian Odhiambo, aka your favorite Mama Ntilie, Mama Putin, aka Mtoto wa Homa Bay County. So today I'm going to show you a simple recipe to make githeri. It's simple, it's delicious. Na sile githeri inanyonga, ni githeri unaweza kula na avocado vizuri. Okay? So the ingredients are black pepper, cumin, Royco cubes, and of course the githeri. So in a sufuria, we are going to put in our onions. Then we're going to put in our cooking oil. We are going to let them cook the onions until they are golden brown. Okay? Okay. After the onions are golden brown, we are going to add our githeri, as you can see I'm doing. Bowl in a kasuku like me, as you can see, I'm going to add cumin. I use my eyes to measure, so that is about a half a teaspoon of cumin. Then you're going to add black pepper as much as you want according to your tolerance when it comes to pili pili or pepper. So this one that I'm adding is about also a half a teaspoon of black pepper. You can see there's water inside. I'm also going to add the 2 Royco cubes. And remember, if you're adding Royco cubes, first taste your food, because Royco cube tend to be salty. Your food might be too salty. So I'm going to stir this, and then I'm going to add it to my githeri and add more water to my githeri so that they can boil together. You have to give your ingredients time to simmer, boil, so that they don't taste funny in your food. You can see I poured that inside and there is some remaining, so I'm going to add water to that bowl and pour it in the githeri. I'm going to put enough water that is going to make the githeri simmer, the ingredients cook well. Black particles that you're seeing, those are black pepper. Here we go, our githeri is done. Look at how delicious it looks. I'm now going to serve it, and as you saw earlier in the video, I put a pili pili or a pepper on top like that so that it can look colorful, okay, so that I can have a good thumbnail. So we're going to serve this. I'm just going to show you how it's going to look. It was really delicious, and I hope when I talked about the Royco cubes, you did not forget to add salt in your food. You have to add salt in your food, salt to taste, salt according to your preference. Okay? Okay. Let's go right into it. The ingredients are in a sufuria. I'm going to cut in the amount of spaghetti that I'm going to use. Then now I'm going to add in my washed eggs. You remember those 2 eggs that we're supposed to make egg curry with? I washed them very clean, and now I'm going to put them inside the spaghetti. Remember, we are saving time. We are saving gas. Okay. Okay. Look at the way it looks. It looks like a bird's nest. So I'm going to add in a little bit of water and salt. Let them boil for at least 20 minutes before we remove and cook. Yes, and just in case you're wondering, those madoadoa that you see in that egg, hivyo ndio hiyo mayai iko, sio uchafu. Thank you. So as that is cooking in a cup, I'm going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of garam masala. That is what I just added. I'm also going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper, or as much as you want, depending on your tolerance on pepper. I'm also going to add in a 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric, just for the color, because the spaghetti is going to be plain white. Okay, we need to give it color. So now the spaghetti and the eggs are ready. It has been 20 minutes, so I'm going to remove them and then we start frying the egg curry. So I'm going to remove the eggs and put them in cold water. The bowl that you're seeing there has cold water inside, so I'm going to put the eggs in there to cool off before I peel them. Then for the spaghetti, I'm going to pour out the hot water that it has, and then I'm going to rinse it with cold water so that the spaghetti can practice social distancing, ndio isishikane. Okay, now let's go straight into frying the egg curry. So in a sufuria, I put cooking oil, vegetable cooking oil, and onions. I'm going to let them saute for like 2 minutes before I add in my garlic. Why I'm doing this is because garlic cooks faster than the normal onion, so I put them later so that they can brown together. Okay, after they're golden brown, we're then going to pour in our mashed tomatoes. As the tomatoes are simmering for 3 minutes, my eggs have already cooled down, so I'm going to peel them so that I get them ready for the curry. We are now back to check on the tomatoes. They seem to be doing great. You remember the mixture that I put in a cup? That is what I'm pouring in there right now. The garam masala, turmeric, and black pepper. I'm later going to add in Royco cube. So we are going to cover this and let it simmer for another 3 minutes. 3 minutes later, the ingredients have simmered. Now we are going to add in a little bit of water, not a river, for soup, for the curry, and then we're going to put in our Royco cube. Now it's time to add in our eggs, which I cut into 2, so there'll be 4 pieces. Okay, and remember, add salt to taste. So we're going to cover that and let it simmer for at least 5 minutes so that the ingredients can come together nicely. curry is now ready. You see, it is not a river of soup. It is just enough soup for the spaghetti that I made. 2 servings. Okay. Now I'm going to serve my spaghetti and my egg curry. For the spaghetti, if you like your food hot, you can still go ahead and warm it. But since my egg curry is hot, it doesn't really matter to me. So the soup is going to make the spaghetti hot. At least for me. If you don't prefer it that way, warm your spaghetti. Well, there you go. This meal was delicious, if I do say so myself. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Click on that notification bell to get notified whenever I upload a new video. Bye bye. Love you. Mwah.
du soleil, pas de soleil, pas de soleil, la-la-la. Pas de soleil, pas de soleil, pas de soleil, la-la-la.
I'm just going to show you how to make your spinach remain green and delicious. Okay, without any further ado, in a sufuria we're going to put in our onions and our vegetable cooking oil. Let them simmer for a bit, and then we are going to add our garlic. Okay. As the onions are simmering, we are going to go ahead and peel our potato and cut it. Just prepare it for the onions. And by the way, if you've never had spinach that was cooked with garlic, you're missing out. That thing tastes so damn delicious. You should totally try it. So as you can see, I'm peeling my tomatoes. I'm going to cut them, and then we're going to put them in our spinach. Okay. Tomatoes, or nyanya as we call them in Kenya, have disappeared. I don't know where they are, so they are not as ripe as they normally are. So let's go back to our onions. As you can see, they are doing okay. They are browning. So if you don't like tomatoes in your spinach, this is the part where you add your spinach. If you like tomatoes in your spinach, of course, this is the part where you'll add your tomatoes. Okay. Going to cover that, let it simmer until the tomatoes are soft and mashed. Okay. Now our tomatoes are okay. Now we are going to add in our spinach. I'm going to add in a tiny bit of water in my spinach, and then I'm not going to cover it. I'm going to let it simmer like that. The reason why I'm adding a tiny bit of water in my spinach is so that it doesn't stick, and I'm going to cook it under low heat so that it doesn't burn. Okay, because normally when you cover your spinach, that is where the steam comes from. But now that, because we're not covering it, we're just going to add a little bit of water, leave it open like that, let it simmer for a bit, then turn it. Okay. Now we have turned our spinach. You need to taste it and see, do you like your spinach rare, very well cooked, or medium? How do you like your spinach? Me, I like my spinach very well cooked, so I'm going to let it simmer for a bit. 6 minutes later, the spinach is cooked and ready to be served. So I'm going to be serving this with eggs and ugali. For the eggs, I'm going to cut one onion, and then in a pan I'm going to put in the onions and cooking oil. After the brown, I'm going to go ahead and add in my tomatoes. We are making 3 eggs. Okay, I'm just going to cover that, let the tomatoes simmer, and then we are going to add in our eggs. I'm going to go ahead and break the 3 eggs in the bowl, and then I'm going to add salt in the eggs before I beat them, and then add them to the simmered tomatoes and onions. Now that the eggs are in, I'm just going to stir them a little bit because I'm cooking them in a pan and I don't want them to end up being round, like one round egg. I want them to break into pieces, so I'm just going to do this before I cover it and let it simmer for a few minutes until it's done. Our eggs are now ready to be served. They were just delicious. I love my eggs made like this if I'm going to have them with ugali. Thank you so much guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Click on that notification bell to get notified whenever I upload a new video. Bye bye. Mwah.